Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here, and we're coming to you from the Grand Hotel, and we're here for the annual policy conference put on by the Detroit Regional Chamber of Commerce. But let's run up to Midland. Everybody tries to get there anyway, right?
All roads lead to Midland.
There you go. Okay, Tony Stamas, who is the director of Grand Poobah of the Midland Business Alliance, right? So what's happening in the Midland area?
It's exciting. A lot of great things are happening as a community. You come into the summer, we've got the Dow Championship, LPGA golf coming up in just a couple weeks. Our Great Lakes Loons are home for the 4th of July and fireworks. We've got a new pickleball, which is just exploding as a support. And then our tennis center is putting in tournament quality pickleball courts. And so we're going to have a tournament in Midland, national tournament in August.
Oh, wow.
And so, so a lot of exciting things happening in terms, it's going to be a great summer with concerts downtown. And so we're really, as people coming to Midland, Dow Gardens, Chippewa Nature Center, wonderful time to visit and to visit a second time.
And thank goodness for Dow. I mean, honestly, they've been an incredible, almost founder.
Yes. Yeah, they're a legacy, and when you think of being the idea of corporate citizenship, they really exemplify that, and they continue to invest, and they continue. It's a tough environment globally, but to navigate through that and figure out, okay, what's the best path, not just for a year from now, but for 10 years from now, 15 years from now. So they continue to be a great partner, and we've got Corteva and DuPont and My Michigan Health and some just really, really great folks who are invested in the community and the region and our state.
Yeah. Years ago, I remember going to kind of an incubator, and it was Dow technology that Dow didn't want to pursue, but they spun it out. And the people who developed it started these companies. Is that still in existence?
Yeah, I don't that specific entity is, but yeah, we still see some of that where the different companies, it just isn't a fit for them, the size or the scale, and so we'll have businesses that join us that are taking a segment of that and say, okay, how can we build this up and create that? And you love having that. There used to be a statistics that per capita, some of the most PhDs anywhere in the world, and there's still a very scientific based community. But it's city of modern explorers, and so what's that mean in 2025 versus 1925?
And I think there are still people out there thinking about, okay, we've had a great legacy. What's next? We've had a whole myriad of issues, and
Well, you always see in communities like that. So
We are having an issue.
drives things. But you've got a pretty healthy small business here.
we do. We're really a vital small business community, and again, folks that are engaged, and they understand, the importance of giving back to the
Community and being part of it, and trying to look at solutions. Like every community, housing is a challenge, and so we're working with two of our local foundations, created Housing Forward, not so much in the affordable housing space, but in the attainable workforce housing, and trying to work on issues and on talent and everything. How can we kind of help situate? I think it's a great community, but we need places for people to live. You need childcare. You need these other pieces that come along with economic development to be moving forward in the right direction.
No, you're absolutely right. And where do they come from is the question. The problem right now is interest rates. You can't have affordable housing if you can't see a developer who sees profit in it.
Well, yeah, as a developer, that they have to make business make sense.
Yeah.
And so, I think, again, on the affordable, there's a number of tools at the state and federal level, but how do you kind of get that middle workforce? Because it's all tied together. If you open up one end, it opens up the other end. And so how you do that? And people say, what kind of housing do you need? And my answer is always yes.
Yeah.
We need it at every level.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's everybody, every community right now. There used to be spec homes. Remember spec homes years ago? You don't see spec homes anymore.
No, you don't. And I think we're going to have to be creative in terms of how we find solutions, because there are some built-in challenges. You talk about interest rates, just the cost of, getting things set up. How do you kind of help so that it's an environment where people do want to invest and build?
Well, it's kind of interesting because the first time I ever heard this term was way back when Granholm was in as governor, and it was placemaking.
Right.
And we still need to do a lot of that. Midland has done a pretty good job of that.
I had a nephew that came up and he did a summer internship down in Ohio, and he was a small town in Ohio, but he'd went to the University of Cincinnati. And he came there, and he and his friends, they would go downtown. There'd be a concert, there'd be activities. Just had an amazing time, and I think that's exactly it. People want to feel connected. They want to feel a community. They want to meet colleagues and counterparts. And as a community, if you can help them to do that, you're going to have a much better chance to bring talent in and to keep people in your community.
Well, and that's the other thing, because you got a nice institution there with Northwood. That's not.
Yeah, they do an amazing job, and really, very much entrepreneurial free market,
Yeah.
and a perfect fit for the community.
Yeah. Well, you do a great job out there, Tony. It's always good to see you.
Great to see you, Chris. Thank you.
Tony Stamas, the executive director of the Midland Business Alliance. You're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network, coming to you today from the Grand Hotel. We'll be right back with more.